Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 414th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. In this battle, I wanted to show the power of archers and the power of a so-called lesser 31k faction. As you watch the battle, you'll see exactly what I mean, but it should be an interesting one for you to watch. Okay, as you can see, I'm fighting on my favourite map, the Germanic Forest map, with the big open plains and the woods where you can bring barbarian troops and launch those nasty ambushes if you want to. Okay, so you know this is my favourite map. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Dionysos, and Dionysos has bought 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. You'll see that some of his units are hiding in the woods, but that's what he's got. He's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry, the bog standard 31k Roman army. Okay, our next teammate is our Brotherhood member Aurelius. Now he's got 16 infantry and just 4 cavalry. Okay, so he's quite infantry loaded there for his army, so it'll be interesting to see how well that army does during the course of the battle. Our third teammate is Brotherhood member MADKING. Now he's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Once again, the bog standard 31k Roman army. 14 infantry, 6 cavalry. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has unusually bought the Scythia faction. Now how often do you see Scythia on the modern 31k battlefield? And if you notice here, this is a custom built army. Okay, I've got 13 chosen archers. Okay, those of you that might not have seen the chosen archers, there you go. Now these guys do a heck of a lot of damage. They're so tough you can use them as light infantry when they run out of arrows. As I say, long range as well for these guys. Plus I've got 5 headhunting maidens. Those of you that haven't seen the maidens, let's have a close look. Okay, so there's a headhunting maidens. Now they're only light cavalry, okay, but they've got a sting in their tail because they've got effective against armor axes. And personally, cavalry versus cavalry, I think these are probably the best cavalry in the game. Okay, they're not so good at fighting infantry, but cavalry versus cavalry, you try them out. They are pretty good. And I've got a Roman, and I've got a warlord, a barbarian warlord general there. So it'd be interesting to see how well this army it does. Now, new players to Rome Total War, why would I make such a custom built army for this battle? Okay, 13 archers and 6 cavalry, no infantry. So obviously it's a custom made army for this particular battle. Now I wonder why I would do that. Okay, just say all will be revealed when you see the other team. So there's our team. It should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. At this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you my archer formation here. Now I'm a bit rusty with bringing so many archers, but what I've done here, see the 6 archers at the front of that formation, they're just gold shield, gold attack. Okay, so they're my lesser upgraded archers. The rear line of my archers is gold shield, gold attack, and an experience stripe. Okay, so that experience stripe, make no mistake, that really does help the troops there. So as I say, I've got the lesser upgraded troops at the front there to take the enemy archer fire, and my better upgraded troops at the back. Staggered formation, if you like. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well these archers do. Let's say I haven't brought an archer army like this for a long time, so I'm a little bit rusty there, but that's what I've done. Put the formation there, so the lesser upgraded archers should take the casualties. As you can see, I've got my maidens there, and my general armor general at the back of the maidens there, protecting the general. So there's my formation. Should be interesting to see what happens. And here is the other team. We have LOW Winnie, and he's bought the Rome Julio faction, and he has got 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 12 infantry and 6 cavalry there. So that'll be interesting to see how well he does there. Okay, their next teammate is RV CORNDOG. Okay, so you can see he's bought the Gaul faction. Okay, so what do we know about Gaul? We know that they've got elite archers in the Forester archers there. Now, can you see why I've bought Scythia? Okay, this is a counter army, what I've made here to counter Gaul. Okay, now as you know, the Forester archers can hide anywhere. And what he's got 4 warband here, 4 skirmishers. Okay, those warband are big 121 man unit spears, 4 skirmishers. He's got 2 chosen swordsmen, and his cavalry consists of cavalry general units, 4 cavalry general units there, okay? But of course you can't see his forester archers, which I'm thinking are there within his formation, because of course they can hide anywhere on the battlefield. Okay, so the moment that they stop, wherever they are on the battlefield, they can hide. That's why we can't see them. But I believe he's got 6 forester archers there. Now of course I've bought so many archers because all of this faction, all of this Gaul faction is susceptible to archer damage. So even though he's only got 6 forester archers, the rest of that Gaul faction will be susceptible to my archer fire. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Trajan, and Trajan has got 11 infantry, 3 archers and 6 cavalry. Okay, 11 infantry, 3 archers and 6 cavalry. You can't see his cavalry because he got them hiding in the woods there. Okay, and yeah, so their next teammate, their last teammate is LOW ESRAX. He's called himself LOW Eggs, but it is LOW ESRAX, and he's got the Rome Scythia faction, and he has got the bog standard 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, so the bog standard Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. So there's the other team. I think the Gaul versus Scythia could be an interesting one. It should be a great one for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle I thought I'd have a look at my formation here, just a little bit for newer players here. Now what I've done is, the first thing I've done with all my archers is turned off auto fire, because I don't want them firing into urban cohorts head on where they'll do minimal damage. So by turning auto fire off, okay, they're not just going to shoot at the enemy urban cohorts wasting their arrows. What I can do is target them. And what I want to target is those Gaul troops. Either their forester archers or whatever, also the enemy cavalry. If the enemy cavalry come within range, then I will target them with my 13 chosen archers. Okay, so either enemy cavalry if they come into range, or those Gaul troops is what I'm going to be targeting. But I have turned the auto fire off, as I say. I don't want them wasting arrows shooting into the front of enemy urban cohorts there, as that would just waste their arrows. Minimal damage too. Right, can you see Dionysos here is moving his infantry over to the right, and I think he's going to try and target the enemy Julii army there of LOW WINNIE. Okay, so that's what I think Dionysos is going to go for. Remember, he is a very aggressive attacking player, likes to take the battle to the enemy, and that's where I think he's going to go for. Okay, as you can see here, Aurelius moving forward as well towards the enemy. This should be a great one for you to watch. Okay, so you can see, I just like to look at the units here of Trajan's army. Can you see how those Roman urban cohorts are? And if you look at the way that Aurelius's units are there, can you see how they're in normal formation there? The units are, and if you like MADKINGs, can you see the normal formation there of the way they are? Now if we look at ESRAX's infantry, can you see how tight and concentrated those units are? Makes it very difficult to damage. Look at the difference between normal units and ESRAX's units. Now with those units being so tight and concentrated, if cavalry hits them, because they can't penetrate them like they would in normal units, they don't do a lot of damage. Now I used to think that you could do that by putting those units in testudo and then taking them out of testudo and they would stay like that, but they don't, because I've tried that. So how ESRAX gets his infantry so tight and concentrated there, I'm not really sure. But it certainly does work, because as I say, you hit those tight concentrated units with cavalry and your cavalry just can't penetrate them, and you tend to lose your cavalry without doing a lot of damage to those units. So that's a pretty good thing what he does there with his infantry, and it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, as I say, you can see Dionysos' Brute army here moving towards the enemy troops there. Okay, you've got some Gaul troops there, but you've also got the Julio troops, which I think he'll be aiming for mostly there as he goes through the woods. Okay, so as I say, very attacking player here, and as I say, I think he's going to go for the enemy Julio troops there. But over here on our left flank, you can see that ESRAX is moving his Scipio troops forward towards MADKING, and MADKING looks to me like he's going to be moving his troops over towards his ally. Okay, and here you can see Trajan's troops there just facing Aurelius' troops. But here you can see, as I say, you can see ESRAX here very confidently moving his infantry forward towards MADKING here. And MADKING probably doing the right thing, pulling back over to his troops there for support, over to his allies' troops there for a bit of support. At the same time, you can see that our SBQ, our ally Aurelius, is moving forward towards the enemy Scipii troops. But by doing that, can you see maybe a tactical problem there? And that is Aurelius has moved forward, but look at his flank. His flank now could be exposed to enemy Scipii attack. Okay, so you have to be careful there. As I say, I'm sure Mad King would have spotted that and may move his troops to neutralise it. Can you see I'm moving all my archers over to the right flank there? Okay, I'm moving all my archers to the right flank. Okay, let's just pause again for a second. So here you can see Aurelius here's flank is exposed to an attack from the Scipii, maybe cavalry and infantry there. But as I say, you can see I'm moving all my archers over to that right flank to cover my Brutii ally there from any archer fire. Okay, and also with those Gaul troops there, they could be a good target for my archers as well to help out. But as I say, I think our Brutii ally there is going for LOW Winnie's Julii troops there. So it's going to be, I think that's going to be maybe a separate battle over there on that flank in comparison to the rest of the battle. Let's just pause again for a second here. So you can see the Forester warband there, they've come out of hiding. There are 6 units of them. Now remember, these guys have got extremely long range, can do a lot of damage, and their alt attack weapon are spears. Now remember, anything with a spear or a pike is anti-cavalry, which we might see them in action a bit later on against cavalry units. And I think you'll be surprised on how much damage they can do there. Okay, you can see that the Scipii general here has put several of his units into Testudo. But over here on our right flank, as I say, you can see Dionysos there looking to move in on the enemy Julii army there. Of course, as I say, there's a lot of enemy Gaul troops there. But as I say, I've moved all my archers over to that right flank there, and I'm going to target the enemy archers here. You can see this one Scipii unit. I would think it's going to be pretty well decimated by my archers once a blizzard of arrows comes in on them like that. And so I target those units, and then I look to target the Gaul units with my archers. Okay, as I say, you can you see that Scipii cavalry going into the flank of Aurelius? Bang! As that Scipii cavalry charges in to the flank of Aurelius is SBQR infantry. Nice cavalry hit there by the enemy. Mad King spotted that and is countering that cavalry attack by moving his infantry forward and charging in with his own cavalry there. And you can see Aurelius is charging in with his cavalry as well. That was a nice surgical hit there by the enemy Scipii troops. Nice hit there by the cavalry. But you can see here, so you can see that Aurelius and Mad King are facing Trajan and ESRAX here. A lot of pilot exchanging going on here between the two armies. As you can see, Mad King's moving forward, taking the battle to the enemy here. He is now attacking ESRAX's troops. But can you see how, as I say, how concentrated and packed ESRAX's infantry are? Now see this cavalry going in. This Brutii cavalry going in, and bang, as they smash into the enemy there. But can you see, as I say, those infantry units of ESRAX are so tight and compact there. The cavalry can't penetrate them, can't do a lot of damage to them there. So I don't think Mad King probably did the damage he was hoping for there. Plus you've got Gaul Forester Archer shooting into the flank of Mad King here. And as I say, there's a big enemy attack coming in on Aurelius and Mad King there. Let's say I've got my archers there. I will be targeting any enemy cavalry that comes into range. As I say, I've turned off auto fire on my archers, so I will just be targeting what I want to target, and that will be enemy cavalry, as I say, when they come into range. Meanwhile, over here on our right flank is a separate battle going on here from the main one. As you can see, the attacking Brutii troops of Dionysos are attacking the enemy red Julii troops there. Okay, so over on this flank, remember the green is our team and the red is the enemy team there. Okay, so just at a glance there you can see, but it looks pretty evenly matched to me going on there over on that right flank. Okay, so meanwhile back, if you like, to the main part of the battle here, you can see both teams are charging their cavalry. And can you see that Scipii cavalry charging into Aurelius' SBQ around? Bang! As they smash in, straight away routing 3 of Aurelius' infantry units there. Make no mistake though, my archers will be targeting that cavalry, and as they pull back, showing the rear to my archers, they will suffer casualties as they're pulling back, as my archers shoot into them. Okay, but that was a nice cavalry hit there, routed 3 of Aurelius' units in one hit. So that was a nice cavalry hit there, I think, by Trajan. So, but Mad King is under a lot of pressure at the moment from the enemy troops there. Okay, another hit here going in from the enemy Scipio cavalry, and bang, as they smash into some of Mad King and Aurelius' unit. Okay, that cavalry charge has routed one of the SBQR units there, but I don't make no mistake, I will be targeting that cavalry with my archers, but you can see the enemy moving in on Mad King. Now if you notice here, can you see Mad King is now being attacked by 2 Scipio armies. Aurelius has moved the bulk of his army over to the right there, maybe to help our ally over there, but leaving Mad King here now to face 2 armies. Okay, so Mad King has got a massive job to do, try and hold 2 armies up here against 2 very good players. Okay, meanwhile over on our right flank here, as I say, it's like a separate battle going on over here. Dionysos facing Winnie over here on this on our right flank. And as you can see there, it looks pretty even to me what's going on over there. Plus you've got Gaul troops moving over here to help their Julii ally. Right, see that Brutii cavalry going in and bang, as that cavalry smashes into the enemy Julii units there. A nice hit there by Dionysos there. But meanwhile I'm over here on the left flank and left centre. As I say, you can see Mad King here is trying to hold 2 armies, Trajans and ESRAXs. Plus, he's got Gaul Forester archers shooting into him as well. Okay, so he's doing extremely well. As I say, my archers now are targeting enemy cavalry wherever I can. Plus, I'll be targeting some of those Gaul troops at the same time. Right, see that Scipio cavalry going in there looking to hit some of Aurelius' troops maybe? Or he's just moving his units over to that flank. Okay, can you see, new players to Rome Total War, can you see a bit of a problem here for Aurelius? Okay, his general has now become separated from his main army. So make no mistake, the enemy will spot that and they will be looking to take his general out. Can you see there? He's become isolated, his general's become isolated from his main army and he will be looked to be taken out by the enemy there. Meanwhile here you can see ESRAX moving his troops in there towards Mad King's army. You've got Aurelius' cavalry there. Here you can see another Brutii cavalry charge going in and bang, as that cavalry smashes straight into those units there. But can you see, once again, those infantry are so packed and concentrated of ESRAXs that Mad King's cavalry, which you think would penetrate there, can't penetrate. Can you see? In fact, he's lost cavalry units there. Now, you'd have thought with that massive cavalry hit, he could have maybe penetrated and maybe routed some of those units. But no, because that unit is those units are so packed and concentrated, he just couldn't do it, and he lost a couple of his cavalry units there. Okay, as I say, here on our left flank, you can see there's a lot of Gaul troops there, and I see Aurelius has attacked them with his cavalry. Okay, meanwhile over here, as we said, the enemy Scipio general, I think it's Trajan there, is attacking Aurelius' general, looking to take out Aurelius' general. Obviously, if you can take that general out, then that's less general morale bonus for our troops, so that's why they're doing that. Meanwhile over here on our right flank, you can see, as I say, it looks 50-50 to me who's going to win over here. Don't forget, our team is the green Dionysos and the enemy team are the red Julii Winnie. Okay, but I think maybe looking at it again, Dionysos looks like he may be having the advantage. But as I say, you've got Gaul troops and archers shooting into Dionysos' troops all the time there. Okay, so as I say, over on our right flank, it's kind of, as I said, like a separate battle to what's going on over here on the main part of the battlefield. If you notice here, I've taken my cavalry over. I've moved my cavalry over there, looking to maybe target those Gaul troops, but really I just want to use them for cavalry against cavalry if I can. Right, see that Brutii cavalry charge now, bang, as they smash in to that into that Scipio ESRAX's Scipio general. But once again, because that unit is so concentrated and packed with infantry, Mad King's cavalry did little damage. And if you notice, there's a lot of dead Brutii cavalry in front of that unit. Okay, so as I say here, you can see I'm moving my units forward. What I really wanted to do with them was target the enemy cavalry. I don't really want to get mixed in with infantry. As I say, the maidens don't do that good against infantry, but against cavalry they are superb. But as I say there, I'm trying to take out as many of the Gaul troops as I can there, try and help my allies with my cavalry. But I'd like to take my cavalry on through the Gaul troops and get him behind those enemy Scipio troops. If I can get my cavalry in behind those engaged enemy Scipio troops, I could then charge in and maybe relieve a bit of pressure off of my allies. Meanwhile over here on our right flank, can you see that Trajan's taken his 6 cavalry units over there to smash into the rear of our Brutii ally. Now that could be a pivotal moment there over on our right flank. If he does that, then we've had it there. You can see Aurelius is trying to help, trying to charge in there to the enemy Scipio troops. As I say, my archers, I'm specifically targeting different enemy units here with my archers, as I've got auto fire turned off. Okay, probably targeting those Gaul troops there, but I will target enemy cavalry if I can. Okay, so meanwhile here you can see over on our right flank, this could be a pivotal moment of the battle. If those enemy Scipio troops start routing our Brutii ally there, then we'll be in trouble. Right, can you see there? Can you see the Brutii? Our Brutii allies like a charge into Julii units there, and bang, as he charges in there, routing that Julii unit. Nice hit there by our Brutii ally, but now he's got enemy Scipio cavalry in behind him. Okay, so that's our Brutii allies general's just been killed there. You can see the enemy Scipio cavalry charging in, but our Brutii ally spotted that and turned his infantry to face that charge coming in there from the cavalry. Nice battlefield awareness there by Dionysos. Meanwhile over here, can you see, I just want to get my cavalry on through these enemy troops and get him behind the enemy infantry there. If I can just smash into the rear of tired, engaged enemy troops, I could really help my team out a lot. But I suffered a lot of damage there fighting enemy infantry, so I've lost a lot of casualties there. As I say, I don't really like fighting enemy infantry head on with maidens. They're not that good. There's another Brutii cavalry attack going down, bang, as it smashes in there. But as I say, once again, the enemy infantry so packed, the cavalry charges don't seem to do a lot. Right, see my maidens, I want to go into the back of those engaged Scipio troops, and bang, as a maiden smash in there, hoping to rout at least 2, maybe 3 of those enemy troops if I can. Right, the enemy have countered attack with their cavalry now, but the maidens now are so damaged that I don't think they're going to do very well against that enemy cavalry. As I say, I lost a lot of them over there fighting those Gaul infantry there, which I shouldn't have done really. Okay, so as I say, not a lot of my maidens left there against those Scipio troops, both infantry and cavalry there pulling in on me. So not very good use of my cavalry there. But as I say, my archers here, as I'm targeting enemy units. But if you notice here, can you see a lot of our Brutii allies starting to rout? The enemy have nearly broken through here on the centre and left flank, and on the right centre as well there. Can you see? Remember, we're SPQR and Brutii. Now MADKING has been holding for a long time against those enemy troops. It was really an attritional battle here, which in the end he couldn't win because he was outnumbered. As you know, in an attritional battle, the more numbers there are going to tell. And unfortunately, I think MADKING's got 3 units left. You can see Aurelius' cavalry might charge into the rear of those enemy Scipio troops. But as I say here, it looks like the enemy have got a breakthrough. Okay, I'm going to have to pull. I think I'm going to have to pull my cavalry back up to my archers there, because they're going to be inundated by enemy infantry as well as cavalry. Need to pull back, especially my general unit there. Need to pull my general unit back to my archers and put the morale-giving bugle playing there, if I can, for my general. Right, can you see here? Just pause again for a second. Okay, so you can see the enemy have broken through. Okay, after a fantastic defense by MADKING, the enemy have now broken through our left centre, our left flank, and our right centre there, looking like it's being broken by the enemy. Okay, so as you can see there, with the enemy breaking through there, this could be a pivotal and decisive moment of the battle here. As you can see, all I've got is archers. What can I do against those victorious enemy infantry and cavalry? So, as I say, this is going to be a bit of a short battle here. You can see my general's still alive there. I'm going to pull him back to my archers. But you can see a lot of Aurelius' units are starting to rout now. They're going to cave in. So, but as you can see here, the enemy have broken us now. Have broken through our left flank, our left centre, and our right centre. And as I say, all I've got is archers. So, not looking very good here. Okay, Dionysos has done well over on the right flank. Defeating the enemy Julii army over there, plus those Scipii cavalry, so he's done well. But he has got battle damaged and tired units, and that's all he's got. Those troops that you see there is the only troops that he's got left. So as I say here, things not looking very good. He did extremely well on that right flank, as MADKING did extremely well on holding on our left flank there and left centre. But that's all he's got now. And if you look at the numbers now, you can see that I think the battle will be over soon. As I say, you can see all I've got is archers there against all that enemy infantry. So I should think my archers will probably start routing soon when they get hit by enemy infantry there. So that's a nice aggressive attack by the enemy there to break through, as I say, our left flank, left centre and right centre there. I need to pull my general out of there, pull him over to my archers. I don't want him killed. But as I say, I would think my when the enemy target my archers there, that will be they will start to rout quite quickly. You see, I brought my general over now. Remember, he's got a morale bugle. If he blows his bugle there, it gives higher the morale of my troops. So that's why I wanted to pull him back. See this Scipio unit moving forward there? I can see his flank and rear. So I'm going to target that unit with my archers, try and take out as many as I can. You can see Dionysos' Bruttii troops, his victorious Bruttii troops have moved over from the right flank. What's left of them, I see there's enemy Scipii cavalry in behind him as well. So as I say, with the weight of the enemy troops here, I should think it won't be long till our Bruttii ally is beaten, and then they'll concentrate on my archers. But at this stage of the battle, I'm going to change from ordinary arrows to fire arrows. Right, can you see why? Let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, if you look at the enemy numbers against our tired Bruttii allies, which is all we've got left now, basically. There's a couple of Aurelius' units left, although I see one's just routed. But you can see the vast amount of enemy troops here charging in. So as I say, they're now engaged against our Bruttii ally. So as I say, I'm going to change from ordinary arrows to fire arrows now for my men. Obviously, as we know, fire arrows greatly diminish the morale of enemy troops as well as causing casualties. So don't forget, I've got 13 archer units in close formation now, so they're going to do a lot of impact damage on enemy troops. So I say I'm going to put them, as I say, onto fire arrows now to greatly reduce the morale of enemy troops and cause casualties. Right, can you see the fire arrows going into the rear of those enemy troops there? Okay, because those enemy troops are engaged with our allies' Bruttii troops, their back is facing my archers, the weakest part of their units. Okay, that's good. We've just taken out the Gaul general there. But as I say, you can see the volume of fire arrows now coming in on the rear of the enemy troops. Let's pause the game for it. The volume of fire arrows there. Can you see it's starting to rout enemy troops already? Now remember, I can't emphasize how much morale is being taken by those enemy troops from my massed archers shooting fire arrows into them. Okay, so the morale sapping arrows there will be helping my allies, because obviously if the morale of enemy troops is that low, then hopefully our Bruttii ally will be able to rout some of those enemy units. Okay, so to say, I've got 13 close formation archer units there shooting in vast volumes of fire arrows into the rear of those enemy troops. And once again, remember, the rear of the enemy troops are the weakest part on Rome Total War, and they are being fire arrowed like hell from my archers there. Okay, Aurelius is keeping a cavalry unit out there to try and protect my archers from any hit there. Can you see the volume of fire arrows going into the rear of those enemy troops? I mean, that is some kind of volume. As I say, I've grouped my archers in close formation so that the impact of those arrows will be even more, doing even more damage and taking even more morale away from the troops. As you can see here, Dionysos' Bruttii troops there are routing some of the enemy troops there with the volume of fire arrows smashing into the rear. So this is a good combination. It's almost like a hammer and anvil attack, if you see what I mean. The hammer being my archers and the anvil being the Bruttii infantry there, our allies there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as I said here, can you see the enemy Trajan here sending in a 77 man unit into my archers? Okay, so what I might do with this group of archers here is alt attack. Okay, I might alt attack against that unit just to hold it up while I use the rest of those archers here to carry on shooting fire arrows into the rear of the enemy troops. Okay, I see Aurelius' cavalry units there are trying to protect my archers, hitting an enemy unit that was moving towards me. But Dionysos, that's all he's got is just those Bruttii units. That, remember, we are the green infantry there, and the rest of the enemy troops are, the rest of the colours there are enemy troops. See that cavalry unit going in, bang, routed one of Dionysos' units there. But you can see here a nice hit there by Dionysos' cavalry unit coming in. We've routed a lot of the enemy infantry now. A lot of the enemy infantry have been routed there by sheer archer power and infantry hits there. But as I say, newer players for Rome Total War, I can't emphasize the damage and morale sapping that my archers are doing to the enemy team there. Let's just pause the game for a second so you can see the volume of arrows here, fire arrows coming into the rear of enemy troops. Now I'm going to target the enemy Scipio general there. Can you see? That's all I want to target. But if I do that, my arrows have got to go over the heads of my allies, and a lot of my arrows would drop short and hit my own allies, causing casualties and lowering the morale of my own troops. So I must stop doing that, and I must go, instead of aiming for that general, which is my natural instinct to take a general, I've got to go for those 2 units there. That's the 2 units I should aim at. Stop shooting at that general, because as I say, my own fire arrows could drop onto my allies, causing them casualties and lowering the morale of my own troops. So I must stop that and now concentrate on those Scipio troops. Right, can you see now? I've started to target those 2 units of Scipio troops there. See the volume of arrows, like a blizzard of arrows going into the rear of those troops. Make no mistake, causing casualties and lowering their morale as well here. Allowing my Brutii ally to make the most of their morale sapping arrows there. Okay, can you see I've done what I thought I'd do here? I've alt-attacked with my archers, okay, against this Scipio unit. Okay, so that's what I've done. I wanted to hold up this Scipio unit with these archers here, still allowing about 8 or 9 of my other archer units to shoot. Okay, don't make no mistake, my general, I've got the morale blowing bugle going all the time. Every time he stops blowing, I then click on him to blow the bugle again, give a morale to my troops. And all the time here, can you see the fire arrow, the volume of fire arrows going into the rear of the enemy? As I say, I can't emphasize how much damage my archers are doing here, both morale wise and casualty wise, to the enemy here. So as I say, you can see, don't forget, we are the green infantry, the enemy are the blue. Okay, so you can see one of Dionysos' units is just routed. There's another Scipio unit charging in here. This is going to go right down to the wire. Okay, let's just pause the game. Okay, so Dionysos' general now unit has been routed. Is another unit's been routed there. So as you can see here, remember, we are the green, the enemy are the blue, and you can see some more Gaul troops charging in there. So it looks to me like things not looking very good for our team at this moment in time. Let's say I'm targeting the enemy Scipio troops as much as I can. Right, can you see another one of our Brutii units has just been routed? We've got one Brutii infantry unit left now against the rest of those enemy troops. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. So you can see Dionysus has got one 17-man unit there. His general and other units have now been routed. Okay, so as I say, this battle's going to go right down to the wire here. You can see the enemy Scipii and that Gaul unit there targeting his tired last unit. One of my archer units I see has run out of arrows, so I'm going to send that in to attack the enemy general. Okay, so as I say, Dionysus has got one Brutii unit left. I hope it's going to hold. If that routs, then that could be the end of the battle here. Right, as you can see, I've got one archer unit that I've run out of arrows, but I'm going to charge it into that Scipii general anyway. And the Scipii general responds by attacking that unit. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So as you can see here, I've got my archer unit on alt attack there, targeting the Scipii general. Okay, and we've got Dionysus' one Brutii unit still there, but we've got other enemy Scipio units and a Gaul unit, I believe, closing in on us as well. Okay, so I'm still targeting the enemy there with my archers, still firing those fire arrows in there, as I say, lowering the morale and causing as many casualties as I can there to help my team. Right, you see Aurelius has still got a very, very battle damaged cavalry unit left. But it'll be interesting to see. Right, he's going to charge in. I bet he goes for that Scipio general, and bang, he charges. Right, my archers have just killed the Scipio general, which I'm really pleased about there. And that, can you see the enemy Scipio unit starting to rout now at this stage? Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. So we've managed to rout the Scipio general, therefore losing the morale, the bonus general bonus morale there. Let's just look at the intensity of the fighting. Remember over here on the right flank, Dionysos was fighting WINNIE. And as you can see, that was an intense battle over there. And the Scipii cavalry come over to help their ally there, but Dionysos did extremely well. He brought his battle-damaged units over as fast as he could to help over it to the rest of the battlefield here. But here you can see the intensity of the battle here by just how many dead there are. Can you see how many fire arrows dead there are? Can you see the black charred bodies there of the casualties that I've caused by my fire arrows? But that's only just half the story there, because of course the morale sapping of those fire arrows really helped. Okay, you can see, I think there's Aurelius, one unit of Dionysus with 8 men in, and my my unit there. As I say here, I'm still shooting fire arrows in, but over here I've got my units alt attacking that Scipii unit. Okay. Still, so what I'd like to do is my cavalry unit there, charge into the back of that very tired Scipii unit there. Probably would rout it, I would have thought. But the enemy may well admit defeat there. Yeah, he's just admitted defeat there. I was going to charge my general into the rear. Okay, I can still see 2 Gaul units left there. Okay, now this is interesting here for newer players to Rome Total War. See what Gaul's secondary weapon is there. Okay, so those are skirmishers there. Okay, and they've just been routed by that SPQR unit. But he's going to charge into some Forester warband. Now this is interesting for newer players to Rome Total War. You watch what their secondary weapon is. Okay, they're shooting fire arrows in, but you wait till that SPQR unit hits them, and you see their secondary weapon. I think you might find this interesting. See, he's moving towards it there, and bang, they charge in right. Now this is the only archer unit in the game that has got a spear as its alt attack weapon. Now remember, any spear or pikes have got an anti-cavalry bonus in Rome Total War. So these guys are fighting cavalry with those spears, with anti-cavalry bonus spears, and it wouldn't surprise me if they routed that SPQR unit. Let's just see, because those spears are quite powerful. There you go. You see, they've routed that SPQR unit. Yes, it was battle damage, but with that anti-cavalry spear units there, that's what they can do against cavalry. Okay, so you can see Dionysos is sending over one of his Brutii units here. Very, very battle damaged unit there. He's sending over to attack, as you can see. But it is very battle damaged there. And you see those archers just fire right. Okay, so that is the last of our allies' infantry units have just been taken out. Okay, so all that's left now is my Scythian archers. That's all that's left now on our team. So what I'm going to try and do is concentrate on that that Forester archer band unit, the last one of the enemy troops there. He may well admit defeat there, possibly. But he's being hit by fire arrows as well as my general buzzing him. I'm going to charge those in. So yes, he just admitted defeat there. So let's just pause again for a second. So as you can see here, all that's left of our team basically now is my Scythian archers. And just to let you know that I didn't lose a single unit of my my Scythian army, and the casualties that I suffered were just 413. Just as a matter of interest there, the whole casualties in that whole battle that I suffered were just 413. So, and most of them obviously would have been my cavalry there. So as I say, for my archers, I didn't lose a single unit of archers there. And as I say, the sum total of all my casualties was 413. Okay, so that's not bad, I don't think, for a Scythian army there. How often do you see Scythia on the modern day battlefield? Okay, so as you can see, it was a close victory, as we thought it would be. Okay, a very close victory there. In fact, I would say very close. Just like to draw your attention to Dionysos' kills, 1,971. So really well done to him. I think he had a pivotal action there over on that right flank, a decisive, maybe even, action there on that right flank. Well done to ESRAX there, and well done to TRAJAN as well. 2 good kills there, really well done. That was really good kills there, guys. I don't think CORNDOG or maybe even WINNIE got the kills that they wanted there, but well played to them as well. As I say, they probably disappointed with the kills they've got. As I say, they wouldn't have been the kills that they wanted there. MADKING, a special shout out to MADKING for holding as long as he did, and well done to AURELIUS as well. As I say, some great kills there for you guys. But just say that Scythia army of mine, remember, that's not a lot of kills, but that's only half the story. The amount of morale sapping fire arrows I was putting onto the rear of those engaged enemy troops, lowering their morale, allowing my allies to rout them there easier, if you see what I mean. So as I say, that's only half the story there. 1,205 kills. It was the morale sapping fire arrows that I think helped. I think at the end of the battle, Dionysos said to me it was the archers that won that battle. Well, I would say it was the archers in coordination with great allied play there that managed to do that. Just have a look at the kills here. You can see maybe the archer kills aren't that great, but as I say, that is only half the story. It was the morale sapping fire arrows that really, I think, helped my allies to go on and win the battle there. So just to say there, I just thought that's pretty good demonstration there of how good a lesser faction could do. So really well done to LOW WINNIE, really well played to RV CORNDOG. Really well played to Brotherhood member TRAJAN, and very well played to LOW ESRAX there. Really well played, guys. Nice aggressive attack in there. And I must say, I thought the battle was won for you guys when you broke us through the main centre. But really well played to MADKING. A special shout out to him for holding against 2 armies for as long as he did. That was pivotal and decisive, in my opinion, for our team to have gone on to win. So really well done to MADKING. Really well done to AURELIUS as well. Great hold in there, great support and protecting my archers, and really well done to DIONYSOS as well there. As I say, that was another decisive move over on our right flank to bring his battle damage infantry over at the right time. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed this battle. Please leave a comment. It's always nice to read your thoughts. And so bye for now, and see you soon.